went into the Air Force in 1952, I believe I said, in Cleburne, Texas, and was in the service, regular Air Force, for 2 years. Came out and was in reserve for an additional 4 years, I believe. At which time I had a choice of discharge or, staying in the service, and I took the discharge and completed my tour at Cleburne area training program. And during my service in the Air Force, I was stationed at Mather Air Force Base, California, for 2 years, at which time I serviced aircraft on the ground after the missions, restocked, fuel supplies and that sort of thing for them. And I had a good time. But then when my tour was up, I did not re-enlist. I had gotten married and had some children on the way. And I stayed in the active, I guess you'd call it active reserve in Fort Worth for a while, doing what was necessary to kind of clean up where I'd left off. But then I was finally discharged, and my tour was over. I wish I'd stayed. I wish I could go back, but you can't back up.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed every minute of it.
If we go back to 1952, were you living with,
Parents.
where you were living with your parents in Fort Worth?
Yes, sir.
Cleburne.
Fort Worth.
In Fort Worth.
Well,
okay.
Let me clarify that. I was between Fort Worth and Cleburne. My address was an Alpharetta, Texas address, and I was just on the property line.
What made you choose the Air Force?
I wanted to fly. I lived close to a little airport in Fort Worth growing up, and I flew every day that I could after I was in high school.
You have a private ticket, Jack?
No, I never did. I had just a permit, and I never did get a, regular license.
But you wanted to fly, and that's why you chose the Air Force.
That's why I chose the Air Force.
What'd they tell you when you went in? Did they say anything about you'll get to fly, or?
No, they made no promises. I really wanted to get in and get out, get my time serviced in the military so I could go on about, private business.
You were 21 when you went in, something like that?
think
20,
so.
21?
20,
somewhere
21,
in there?
yeah.
You went to Lackland. Had you ever been away from home before?
No, sir.
And you went all the way to San Antonio.
All the way. Long trip.
How'd they send you down there?
If I remember correctly, I went down on a bus.
Bus? With a whole group of?
No, just
you?
by myself.
Okay. The Air Force Basic. You had a whole class of people?
Yes, sir.
100 of you? 200, whatever?
Probably 100.
Okay. You tell us some things about that basic. If you'd never been subjected to military discipline?
No, sir.
Was that a little bit of a shock to you, Jack?
Not really, because I'd been in ROTC in high school. And then around, when I was a youngster, I lived near an Air Force base in Midland. And I was used to their training programs and that sort of thing. I didn't know anything about it, but I was used to the discipline portion of it. I had no trouble at all.
So when they came and rolled you out of the sack at 5 in the morning, that didn't
You wonder why in the hell am I here?
Okay.